If you like the following story, subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Also, check out the description for a link to our children's books. In a small house in Port Arthur, Texas, in 1911, a baby girl was born who would change the world of sports forever. Her parents, Norwegian immigrants, named her Mildred Ella Didrikson, but the world would soon know her as Babe. The nickname didn't come from nowhere. Even as a young girl, Babe was different from everyone else. While other kids played casually, she played with a fire and skill that made grown-ups stop and stare. Baseball was her first love, and she was so incredible at the game that her teammates began calling her Babe, just like Babe Ruth, the famous baseball legend. Imagine being so good at something that people compare you to a professional athlete, and you're still just a kid. Babe could hit a baseball harder and farther than most boys her age. Her throws were so powerful and accurate that coaches would watch in disbelief. She wasn't just playing a game. She was creating something magical every time she stepped onto the field. Growing up in Texas during the early 1900s wasn't easy. Her family didn't have much money, and most people expected girls to stay quiet and do traditional things. But Babe was anything but traditional. She had a natural talent that couldn't be contained. Whether it was baseball, basketball, track, or any sport she tried, Babe was always the one to watch. Her parents saw something special in her. Instead of trying to hold her back, they encouraged her to explore her talents. They recognized that their daughter was different. She wasn't just playing sports, she was born to compete. "Some kids are good at sports," her father would say, "but Babe, she's something else entirely." And he was right. From the very beginning, Babe Didrikson was a force of nature, a girl who would grow up to show the world that limits are just imaginary lines waiting to be crossed. The nickname Babe stuck with her for life, a reminder of a young girl from Texas who was extraordinary from the very start. Fast forward to the Summer Olympics in the year 1932. Babe Didrikson stood at the edge of the Olympic Stadium, her heart racing with anticipation. At just 22 years old, she had already become a legend in sports, but the Olympics were her chance to prove to the world just how incredible she could be. Babe wasn't like other athletes. While most competed in just one sport, she was determined to show everyone that she could excel in multiple events. The javelin throw was her first big moment. As she stepped up to the line, the crowd fell silent. Babe's muscular arm pulled back, and with a powerful twist of her body, she sent the javelin soaring through the air. When it landed, the crowd erupted in cheers. Babe had not only won the gold medal, but had also set a new world record. But Babe wasn't done yet. Just a short time later, she prepared for the 80-meter hurdles. The track stretched before her like a challenge waiting to be conquered. When the starting gun fired, Babe flew down the track. Her legs moved like lightning, clearing each hurdle with incredible grace and speed. Another gold medal, another world record. The newspapers went crazy. "Who is this Babe Didrikson?" they asked. She had won 2 gold medals and set world records in both events, something no one had ever done before. Some sports writers couldn't believe their eyes. A woman competing like this? Breaking records left and right? Babe was changing everything people thought they knew about women in sports. After her Olympic triumph, Babe stood tall and proud. She had proven that with hard work, determination, and belief in yourself, anything was possible. The little girl from Texas who loved sports more than anything had just become an Olympic champion. This is just the beginning, Babe thought to herself, a wide smile spreading across her face. The world hadn't seen anything yet. The world in the 1930s had very strict ideas about what women should and shouldn't do. Girls were supposed to look pretty, play gentle games, and never get too sweaty or competitive. But Babe didn't care about those rules. She wore pants when everyone expected her to wear dresses, and she played sports with a passion that shocked many people. "Why can't a girl be strong?" Babe would say, her eyes sparkling with defiance. She didn't just play one sport, she played many. Basketball, baseball, track and field, golf, nothing was off limits for Babe. When other athletes specialized in just one thing, she became incredible at everything. At competitions, people would stare. A woman competing professionally? Unheard of. But Babe would step onto the field wearing comfortable pants instead of the expected skirts, and then she would show everyone exactly what she could do. She ran faster, threw farther, and played harder than most of the men around her. Some people called her unladylike. Others said she was too rough, too bold. But Babe just kept playing, kept winning, and kept proving that talent knows no gender. She wasn't trying to make a statement, she was simply being herself, doing what she loved most in the world. When newspapers wrote about her, they often seemed surprised. How can a girl be so good at sports? They would ask. But Babe knew the answer. It wasn't about being a girl or a boy. It was about hard work, passion, and believing in yourself. She was breaking down walls that had kept women out of sports for generations. With every race she ran, every ball she threw, every record she broke, Babe was showing the world that girls could be strong, competitive, and absolutely incredible athletes. After conquering track and field, Babe Didrikson set her sights on a new challenge: golf. Many people thought she wouldn't be successful. After all, how could an athlete from so many other sports suddenly become a golf champion? But Babe was about to prove them wrong. Again. When she first picked up a golf club, Babe approached the sport with the same fierce determination that had made her an Olympic star. She practiced for hours and hours, her powerful athletic skills translating into an incredible golf swing. Other players watched in amazement as she quickly transformed from a newcomer to a serious competitor. By the mid-1940s, Babe was dominating women's golf. She wasn't just playing the game, she was changing it. 10 major championships later, she had become a legend on the golf course. Each tournament was another chance to show the world that she was more than just a multi-sport athlete. She was one of the greatest golfers of her time. But Babe wasn't just winning for herself. She was helping to put women's professional golf on the map. In a time when women's sports were barely recognized, she brought excitement, skill, and national attention to golf. Newspapers that had once ignored women's sports now wrote about her incredible matches and record-breaking performances. Her fellow players respected her, fans admired her, and she became a role model for young women everywhere. Babe showed that sports weren't just about winning. They were about passion, hard work, and believing in yourself. She proved that a woman could be a champion in any field she chose. With each swing of her golf club, Babe Didrikson was writing a new chapter in sports history. A chapter where women could be strong, talented, and absolutely unstoppable. The secret to Babe Didrikson's success wasn't magic. It was hard work. While other people saw her incredible talents and thought she was just naturally gifted, Babe knew the truth. Behind every record, every championship, and every amazing moment was something much more powerful: endless hours of practice. Long before the sun came up, Babe would be out training. In basketball, she'd shoot basketball after basketball, watching carefully how her hands moved, how her body balanced. For track and field, she'd run the same track over and over, timing herself, analyzing every single step. In golf, she'd spend hours practicing her swing, making tiny adjustments that most people would never notice. Talent is nice, Babe would say, but talent without hard work is like a car without an engine. It looks good, but it won't go anywhere. Her teammates and competitors would watch in amazement as she practiced when everyone else was resting. While others celebrated a win, Babe was already thinking about how to improve. Sometimes her practice was so intense that it looked almost boring. The same movement repeated hundreds of times, the same throw, the same run, the same golf swing. But Babe understood something important. Excellence isn't about doing something amazing once. It's about doing something well over and over and over again. Her family remembered how, as a young girl, she would practice for hours in her backyard. Other kids might get bored or want to play, but Babe was different. She found joy in the practice itself. Each repetition wasn't a chore. It was a chance to get a little bit better. Champions aren't born, she would later tell young athletes. Champions are made. They're made by hard work, by dedication, and by believing in yourself even when no one else does. Babe Didrikson showed the world that true greatness isn't about natural talent. It's about how hard you're willing to work, how many times you're willing to try, and how much you believe in your dreams. Imagine a world where people told you that you couldn't do something simply because of who you were. That was the world Babe Didrikson changed forever. Her story isn't just about winning medals or breaking records. It's about breaking down walls that kept women from believing in themselves. Long after Babe stopped competing, her impact continued to grow. Young girls who had never seen her play began to hear her story. A story of a girl who didn't just play sports, but transformed what it meant to be an athlete. She showed that being a girl wasn't a limitation. It was a source of strength. Athletes like Billie Jean King, Jackie Joyner-Kersee, and countless others would later say that Babe was their inspiration. She opened doors that seemed completely closed. Before Babe, women's sports were barely noticed. After Babe, they became something to celebrate, something to be proud of. But her legacy wasn't just about sports. Babe proved that limits are mostly in our minds. She didn't just challenge the rules about women in athletics. She showed that anyone could achieve amazing things if they worked hard enough and believed in themselves. What made Babe truly special was how she refused to let anyone define her. She wasn't just good for a girl. She was simply good, period. Whether it was track, basketball, golf, or any other sport she tried, Babe showed that passion and determination know no boundaries. Even when she faced cancer later in life, Babe approached it the same way she approached sports, with incredible courage and a fighting spirit. She continued to inspire people, showing that strength isn't about never facing challenges, but about how you face them. Today, when young girls pick up a baseball bat, run on a track, or swing a golf club, they're carrying a little bit of Babe Didrikson's spirit with them. She created a world where you can't became just watch me. Her message was simple but powerful. Believe in yourself. Work hard. Never let anyone tell you what you can't do. And most importantly, there are no limits except the ones you place on yourself. Be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. Also, check out the description for a link to our children's books.